Hello, YouTube. Well, this is incredibly stupid of these male politicians wanting to do this. These male politicians are pushing for women who receive abortions to be punished with prison time. For the Republican Party, that just makes them listen. They love it. They want them to be jailed. It's what the Republicans all want. A businessman turned state representative from rural Oil City, Louisiana, and a Baptist pastor banded together earlier this year on a radical mission. They were adamant that a woman who receives an abortion should receive the same criminal consequences as one who drowns her baby. Yeah, politicians just say no. Drowning a baby and having an abortion are two different things. Under a bill they promoted, pregnant people could face murder charges even if they were raped or doctors determined the procedure was needed to save their own life. Doctors who attempted to help patients conceive through in vitro fertilization, a fertility treatment used by millions of Americans, could also be locked up for destroying embryos. And certain contraceptions, such as Plan B, would be banned. State Representative Danny McCormick told a committee of state lawmakers who considered the bill in May, right after the Supreme Court's decision to overturn Roe v. Wade was leaked. No compromises, no more waiting. Brian Gunter, the pastor who suggested McCormick be the one to introduce the legislation, told the committee. Only 4 people spoke against the bill during the committee meeting, all women. They pleaded with the lawmakers to grasp the activity of the proposed restrictions, which went further than any state abortion law currently on the books, and warned of unintended consequences. We need to take a deep breath, said Melissa Florini, a former state representative who runs the progressive advocacy group 10,000 Women Louisiana. She said the bill would only punish women and that there wasn't enough responsibility being placed on men. But in the end, only 1 man and 1 woman, an independent and a Democrat, voted against it in committee. 7 men on the committee, all Republicans, voted in favor of the bill, moving it one step closer to becoming law. Now trust me on this, and I'll get back to trust me on this. All the laws that Republicans want into law are only just for the worse. Yeah, they are. Men at the helm, a faction of self-proclaimed abortionalists, are seeking to make abortion laws more restrictive and the consequences of having the procedure more punitive than ever before. Emboldened by the overturning of Roe v. Wade, they say they will not be satisfied until fetuses are given the same protections as all U.S. citizens, meaning that if abortion is legal, then criminal statutes should be applied accordingly. While major national anti-abortion groups say they do not support criminalizing women, the idea of gaining traction with certain conservative lawmakers and the activists and politicians leading the charge are nearly always men, CNN found. Most of them are men. This year, 3 male lawmakers from Indiana attempted to wipe out existing abortion regulations and change the state's criminal statutes to apply at the time of fertilization. In Texas, 5 lawmakers authored a bill last year that would have made getting an abortion punishable by the death penalty if it had gone into law. A state representative in Arizona introduced legislation that included homicide charges, saying in a Facebook video that anyone who undergoes an abortion deserves to spend some time in the Arizona, quote, penal system. And a male Kansas lawmaker proposed a bill that would amend the state's constitution to allow abortion laws to pass without an exception for the life of the mother. While most in the anti-abortion movement believe that human life begins at conception, abolitionists are particularly uncompromising in how they act on their beliefs. The Republicans are too. They just want everything their way. Comparing abortion to the Holocaust and using inflammatory terms such as slaughter and murder to describe medical procedure that most Americans believe should be legal in all or most cases. wow, these politicians are just so damn stupid. Bradley Pierce, the attorney who helped draft the Louisiana bill, said his organization has been involved with many of the abolition bills that have been introduced in more than a dozen states. All of this proposed legislation would make it possible for women seeking abortion to face criminal charges. An overwhelming majority of Americans said in a Pew Research Center poll that they don't believe men should have a greater say on abortion policy, but this is what is happening. Experts told CNN that the male dominance fits within the anti-abortion movement's current framing as being focused on fatal personhood and fatal rights as opposed to maternal rights. Eric Swank, an Arizona State University professor who studied gender differences in anti-abortion activists, said his research found that while men aren't necessarily more likely to consider themselves as to be pro-life than women, they are more willing to take the adamant stance of no abortion under any conditions. The most restrictive bills, which don't include explicit life of the mother exceptions and would charge those who receive abortions with homicide, have failed to make it to the full vote needed for passage. But others that prohibit abortions, even in cases of rape and incest, have taken hold in around a dozen states, including Missouri, Alabama, and Tennessee. Those laws, CNN found, were also overwhelmingly those laws were CNN found were almost overwhelmingly passed into law by male legislatures, while female Republicans almost always voted in favor of the legislation. Gender imbalances within state legislatures, as well as the fact that female lawmakers were more likely to be Democrats, fueled the voting gap, and male Democratic lawmakers were far more likely than female Democrats to cross the aisle to vote in favor of the abortion bans. The Texas Heartbeat Act, for example, outlawed nearly all abortions in the state when it criminalized the procedure as soon as a heartbeat could be detected, as early as 6 weeks of pregnancy. While men made up nearly 3/4 of the 177 lawmakers who voted, nearly 90% of those who voted in favor of the bill were men, encouraging sacrificial behavior. Scott Herndon, a bearded Idaho man and father of 8, once believed that abortion was an issue that should be discussed between a woman and her physician. He remembers watching the classic 80s movie Fast Times at Ridgemont High and being relatively ambivalent about the fact that one of the characters received an abortion. He didn't become a Christian until 1996, the same year he drove his pregnant girlfriend along the streets of San Francisco on his motorcycle. The pregnancy was unexpected, but that life development, along with a newfound religious practice, led Herndon to spend a lot of thinking about the miraculous nature of life. Over the years, he began to feel compelled to get involved with the anti-abortion movement. His daughter is now 25, and he and his wife went on to have 7 more children, a longtime member of the Idaho Republicans. He told CNN his decision to run for state senate this year with the mission of fighting government encroachment. Herndon, who touts his competitive shooting experience in high school and college, is a staunch supporter of the right to bear arms and strongly opposes vaccine mandates. He describes himself as a true family values conservative. Nothing that his sons help him with his home building business while his 5 daughters live on the family farm, milking cows and raising chickens and pigs. One of the long-term goals, if elected, he said, is to abolish abortion in the Senate. Success depends on changing hearts and minds. I liken the effort to Martin Luther King Jr.'s civil rights movement for desegregation, and equal treatment of African Americans. This comparison is one that abortion rights activists take serious issue with. Let's be clear, appropriating the word abolition is particularly contemptuous. A spokesperson for Planned Parenthood Federation of America said in a statement to CNN, "That word is a symbol of freedom, and this group wants to put people behind bars for exercising their right to bodily autonomy." Herndon, however, says women should embrace their instinctual sacrificial behavior. If a mother is in a life raft with the child and there's only enough food and water to save one, I'm guessing most mothers would not throw their child overboard and drown them. He said in an interview with CNN when asked about medical circumstances when a doctor may deem an abortion necessary to save a woman's life, such as a cancer diagnosis that requires aggressive treatment. As part of their efforts to abolish abortion, which is generally defined as the termination of a pregnancy, Herndon and others in the anti-abortion movement are attempting to redefine the term of the intentional killing of a fetus. That way, they claim, the lives of mothers could still be saved as long as doctors make an equal attempt to save the fetus. Gunter, meanwhile, said he disagrees with the medical establishment and does not believe abortion is ever medically necessary. I think that's enough of reading that. I think that male politicians wanting to punish women who want to have an abortion is completely stupid. Completely stupid. I think these male politicians or former politicians, whatever, should not be or have been in politics. The Republicans, they don't like us. They don't like the American people. The ones in politics do not like the American people. Because they want to do everything they can to... Heck, as far as I'm concerned, some Republican politicians probably want to see women who want to have abortions executed. As a matter of fact, I know some Republicans in politics want to see some women who want to have abortions executed. But the voters are going to be themselves. The idiots they are. Another stupid example of saying life is winning when abortion is not in law is Mike Pence. Perfect example. Screw him. I'm glad he's not a politician anymore. Yeah, voters, go vote Republican. See women die. What they want. Go see women die. See you next time.